The chair of the Treasury Select Committee ruled out a second EU referendum taking place, claiming it would almost be destructive for the country to do so. Nicky Morgan, a Conservative MP, said she still believes Britain should have voted to stay in the European Union in June 2016 because of geopolitical reasons, but the Treasury Select Committee had claimed it is important to understand how complicated Brexit negotiations have been over the past year, and trying to wither that all down into a second referendum could have huge implications, she told The Telegraph. "We are better off for geopolitical reasons more than anything else, being part of the European Union, but that ship has sailed. The 2016 referendum has been so decisive for the country and it sits so uneasily with our representative democracy, that I think it would almost be destructive to have a second referendum." Nicky Morgan said a second Brexit referendum would almost be destructive for Britain. "What we have seen over the last 12 months is that Brexit is enormously complicated, and trying to boil all of that down to a second referendum would be enormously challenging and would not be good for the state of the nation." Earlier this month, the Brexit transition terms that were agreed in a landmark deal earlier this month were hailed by Brexit Secretary David Davis and the EU's lead negotiator Michel Barnier as a significant and decisive step. It will see Britain now officially leave the EU on March 29, 2019, and will remain in a standstill transition that will see it continue to operate in a single market until the end of 2020, but without having any say in decision-making. The standout aspects are EU citizens arriving in Britain post-Brexit will have access to automatic residency rights until the end of the transition period, while the EU has allowed Britain to negotiate and sign trade deals in this time. Ms. Morgan has backed the deal, adding, "It is vitally important Britain still maintains various partnerships throughout the EU, particularly from a security and business perspective." She said, "We can't ignore the fact that we are not going to be members of the EU. But they are very important partners, not least in security matters, which the Prime Minister has made very clear. But many of our businesses have these integrated supply chains throughout Europe, and the PM has always said." And I remember asking her many months ago about a deal, and she said, "I want there to be a deal, and I think we can be more confident now that there is going to be a deal." Therefore, the "no deal is better than a bad deal" language, you definitely hear a lot less of it, but there are people inside and outside Parliament that much prefer there to be no deal. They think it is possible to just get up and walk away. Over the last 12 months it has become clearer that it is much harder to do. The disentangling of ourselves from 44 years is going to take time, and if we want to have an ongoing relationship, we need to have a deal.